Ready, starting. Hello everybody and welcome back. We are in day 26. So you guys realize we've been doing this for like 4 weeks now? Isn't that crazy?
Can we
turn that down. Other way. Okay.
turn it up?
Yeah, I don't think we need to turn that up. So, all right, looks like we are live. Quit futzing with the dog. What do those do?
No.
What do those do?
What do those do?
I will show you today, actually, because we are going to be using this. So,
Unicorn of the week.
What's that?
What do those do?
No, she said those do. What do those do?
What do those do? Unicorn of the week.
Its name is Mush Mush?
Yes. Well,
Mush.
that's its fun name that I gave it.
And it's what? What was its real name again?
Rainbow Swirl.
Rainbow Swirl. All right, well, why don't you take Rainbow Swirl / Mush Mush out so we can get started. I know we're working with torches and stuff again.
Okay.
You don't want them anywhere near this. All right, so the last 2 days.
They got piano students.
What's that?
They got piano students.
Yes. Well, Sue Ellen, we will join you, hopefully you join us soon. And you always know where to find us anyway. Plus, actually, we need to set an alarm because Kiari has a cello lesson in an hour. So we need to make sure that we are done. So I meant to have that done already. What?
Hugs to all.
Hugs to all.
No,
okay.
hug goals.
Huggles. Okay.
Hug goals.
So, Kiara, stop. Okay. So anyway, let's get this started. All right, so we've got an alarm. All right, so we're only gonna have about an hour because like I said, Kiari has a cello lesson. So we'll see what we can get done today. I don't know if we'll still finish this yet or not, but we'll definitely see what happens.
How long have we been working on this now?
2 days.
Okay, we got some of self-care.
So really, it's only been a couple of hours, right? Because we only do it while we're here on the video and stuff like that. Julia Dickerson from Washington, D.C. I miss Washington, D.C. We used to live out in Virginia. We started out in Falls Church, and then we went to Springfield, kind of the Burke-Springfield area after that. So that was a lot of fun.
Washington from South Carolina.
South Carolina, nice. We got people all over the place. It's kind of fun. All right, so what we've done in the last 2 days is the girls' first day, they learned how to create their bezels. So they got that part of it started. And yesterday we got them soldered onto our back plates, sort of. So Kiari's still needs to have a little bit of extra work done on hers. So half of hers has soldered on and the other half has not yet. So we still have inside of here, and hopefully you guys can see this, there's still 3 little pieces of solder in there that have not yet flowed. And I don't even need to add any extra solder at this point. I think that these pieces of solder are still good. They just need to flow. However, I do notice that they are sitting away from the wall of our bezel a little bit. So, but if we've got this fluxed well enough, then we will be able to get that to flow on the outside. Kate's piece hers flowed beautifully. I was so excited when I rewatched our video last night to watch how that went. I mean, I was excited when it happened, but when I watched the video again last night and just to watch that, it was beautiful. Now, Kate, we ran hers through the rolling mill and we also ran Kiari's through the rolling mill. So they both have a patterned back plate on theirs. Kate's has very sharp corners. Okay, and this would be what we call lethal jewelry. Anytime that your jewelry hurts, we call it lethal jewelry.
So I can hurt someone, so anyone attacks me, jewelry.
Oh, you could, yeah, you could definitely hurt somebody with this, but I think it would hurt you quite a bit while you're wearing it.
No one.
So we need to address the corners of those. My piece, again, the soldering went really well, and I want my piece to be an oval. So it is ready to be marked and then trimmed away. So we have a few different things that we're going to be doing. So first thing, Kate, anytime I make a piece that has especially if it's got a really beautiful stone. And let's see if I can hold this here. So she has a labradorite, and can you guys see how beautiful that flash is there of the colors and everything like that? So anytime I have a stone, especially if I have a stone that has something like this that's going to have that beautiful flash to it, I want to have an open back of some sort. Now, if you remember, Kate's stone needed to be raised a little bit. So we don't want to cut away too much of this because we are going to have to put some kind of a spacer in here. Okay, and we're going to do that with some wire. So Jason, you said that you finally caught us live. Well, welcome to the live. We're glad to have you here.
If you didn't want to raise it, would another option to be like to sand down?
Yes, it would. Yes, it would, absolutely. So the other option you have is to sand this down and bring it down to the height of that you're after for your stone. So that is definitely an option. I really like the look of the taller bezel. Like, you don't want it to be too short, but it could go either way. But what I want you to do on yours is decide what you want to have on the inside of your bezel. Okay, and you'll notice that part of yours, notice how it's really shiny out here, but on the inside, it's kind of got a matte finish, right? So what I did was I took a brass brush and I just went over it with a brass brush with some soap and water, and that's what burnished it. Remember we talked yesterday about why it had that fuzzy matte finish? Why does it do that? You remember? You don't remember? So remember when we have it and it's all charred and yucky? After we hit it with the torch, what is that? You don't remember? Kiara, do you remember why it's all charred and yucky? Quit playing with the water. Why is it all charred and yucky? Do you remember after we hit it with the torch?
Because it goes to powdered.
Okay, that's the flux.
Oh.
That's the flux. But afterwards, after we've done the soldering, remember how black your piece was?
Because the solder didn't flow.
Well, it's not because the solder didn't flow. The solder actually didn't flow because of the oxidation.
What's the
Right?
oxidation?
The oxidation is when the oxides or the oxygen mixes with that copper and the chemicals that are in there, and with that heat, that's why it got all black and dirty. So then we put it in the pickle, and what does that pickle do?
It cleans it off.
It cleans it off. It removes all those oxides, and remember, it leaves us with those little peaks and valleys. Now, do you remember that? Okay, so you're left with all those peaks and valleys, and so all you're seeing is the top of those, and that's why it's fuzzy, because you've got all these little tiny pinpricks that are sticking up. And what you can do is you can just take that brass brush, go over it, and lay those down, and that burnishes it. And that's when we get kind of that shiny silver look. So that's what I've done on yours, but I didn't do it on the inside, okay? And because of that, it actually gives you kind of a nice little surface now. You can take your pencil and you can draw something on there. So whether you draw a music note, I think a music note would be fantastic on the back of this since our texture is music notes. So that would be something that you can kind of think about if you want a music note, or even if you just want to do kind of an oval where we cut out part of it. Obviously cutting out an oval is going to be a little more simple, and there's nothing wrong with doing that, especially since this is your first piece. Okay, so you want to put something here. It can be a heart, it can be a star, it can be an oval, it can be a music note, whatever you'd like, a teardrop. Okay, but your task while I help Kiari finish soldering hers is to get your little design on there. Let's move this hammer out of our way. What's that?
I'm gonna use your phone to search.
Yep, that's fine.
Really quick, just make sure I get it right.
Okay, but anyway, so I like to have something cut out on the back of my stone for a couple of reasons. One, for a design element, and two, what's the other reason? Do you remember?
How do I be able to search something?
What are you trying to find?
I'm just trying to search up a certain music element.
Well, you had to go out of this. So of course she has to. You're such a bum. Okay, so we'll just do that. So anyway, why do I also want to have other design element, or why do I want that cut out in the back, or holes or something like that? Do you remember? We talked about a couple of reasons. You're not paying attention. Dang it. All right, so the reason for that, you know what, my mic is about to die.
If it flips over, it's still.
I remember.
Well, that's for the design element, but there's a couple functional reasons.
Oh, you put the. I just forgot.
You
Oh,
forgot to.
wait. You put the holes in it so you can put the chain in.
No, not for the behind the stone. We're gonna put a hole in there because we want to be able to clean the stone or clean the back of the piece or be able to pop our stone out. My mic just died.
Okay.
So give me just a second. Let me swap out the. Okay, I think we're back now. Yep, we're good now. All right, technical difficulties, but at least I saw that it was coming, so we were ready, right? We were ready to go. Okay, so we'll take care of those later. Okay, so we want to be able to pop out our stone if we need to. And remember, yesterday I said that if you've got your piece, do not put your stone in there. Avoid that temptation at all costs at the beginning. Okay, so Kiari.
Because if you do, you could get it stuck. But you could use paper. Or you could use floss. But if you use floss, it could break and your stone would be stuck.
That's right. Sometimes sometimes the floss will break. And Alice says she likes your cool necklace. So this was given to us by one of our talented viewers, Janet. Hi.
We opened them up yesterday.
I know, it's so cool. You could do that, but it's going to be really difficult. So a treble clef would be fantastic, but it will be a difficult one to cut out.
Ooh.
Just so you know. I would go with like a quarter note or an eighth note or something like that. I think that would be, because I can cut that out. You have never cut anything that detailed and that small. So I would go a little bit more simple this time. Yes, baby.
I know a note I could do.
Good. You want to do a music note on yours too? All right. So we need, where did my flux go? Here we go. So what we need to do, Kiari, is we need to flux up your piece.
Where's the orange
Here, it's right here. We need to soften it up a bit. There we go. So go ahead and get the flux on your piece. I'm going to zoom us in. See if I can get us up there. There we go. Okay. Now, where we really want some good flux is on the inside of this. Good job. Okay.
Wait, I have to get it around the ring.
Okay, I think you've got more than plenty there, honey.
Yep.
All right. So go ahead and we're gonna wash that off. Okay, get that out of our way. So now we're actually gonna hit it with the bigger torch this time. So yesterday you saw.
We tried the little hottie.
It was a little hottie, but this is a little hottie too.
I think you said.
A Max Bolt maybe, or a silver. I don't remember. I can never remember the names of them, but this time we're gonna go a little bit bigger. And the reason for this is because you're going to try. You're gonna do this, but I'm just showing them what we're using. So this time we're gonna use a little bigger torch. Copper will oxidize really fast. And so that's kind of what happened and hindered us from getting that solder to flow. So this time we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna use this torch. Let me get it started. Okay, so it's really big this time. Let me flip our piece around so that we can make sure we see when that solder flows. Okay, so Kiari, put this in your left hand. The torch goes in your non-dominant hand. Okay, come here. Come up here. Get in here. There we go. Okay, so what we're gonna do here, let's see if we can get this on the screen. We're gonna come around and we wanna warm up our back plates. So what phase are we?
It's powdered sugar.
Okay, powdered sugar. And now what's it doing?
It's going to maple syrup, and then I'll go to clear and glass.
That's right, it'll go clear and glassy here in just a second. So look, which one are we at now?
The maple syrup.
Yep, okay, hold on. I gotta get your hand here. There we go. All right, so we're gonna just keep coming around, and we wanna stay on the outside of this bezel. We'll come in just for a little bit, and then we're gonna come back outside. Okay, by coming outside, what we're gonna do is we're going to pull our solder out. Now, where are we?
Clear and glass.
We are clear and glassy. So that means I'm gonna just concentrate right here now where our solder is, and we wanna pull that solder out. So we're about to float, and there it goes. Beautiful, and we just saw it go all the way around. So we now have, I see a solder line all the way around our piece. We're gonna turn off our torch. Okay, quench, you always quench your pick. All right, I don't know how that looked on the screen. Hopefully it showed up okay. Don't put that back on the board. That's really hot. There you go. So now, once you've quenched it, now we can hold it. And Kiari, this looks fantastic. So now we have that full solder seam. So like I said, yes, please put that in the pickle. Like I said, if it doesn't solder the first time, it's totally okay. It's not a big deal, and that happens quite often. And especially if you have a larger piece, that bezel, quit playing with the water.
But
that bezel is going to be even more difficult to solder into there. Okay, so the next thing that we need to do, girls, while that's pickling and while Kate is still kind of designing the inside of her back plate, we need to figure out what we kind of want for the rest of our design. All right, we sketched them out a little bit. You guys kind of decided that you would like to have a tube setting on each of your pieces, right? Okay, no more playing with the water. I'm serious.
But I want to cool off this thing.
No, it's fine. It's totally fine the way that it is. So we're just gonna set that over here. Don't touch it, okay? Okay, so Kate, have you come up with something different that you want to try? Not yet?
Can I see the music notes, Dad?
Well, I think I will help you just draw a music note, okay? So like if we do, and let me show you guys here.
What type of music notes?
Let's see if we can get this on our camera. So let's switch to this camera and we'll zoom in a little bit.
What type of music notes are
Here we go. Okay, well see, she didn't do a music note. She actually did a treble clef, and she drew it absolutely beautifully. Okay, so let's see if I can get this.
That's my favorite
There we go. It's not a note. It's
Well, it's my favorite, whatever
music
it is.
design.
Yeah.
Yeah, your favorite music design. So the treble clef is beautiful, but this would be, do you see why I say it would be really difficult to cut out?
1 second, I'll be right back.
Yes or no?
I'll be right back.
Okay. So this would be, especially if we were to try to do this one, I would say that this is a little bit more of an advanced design, especially like Kate, it's been 2 years since you've done anything with a jeweler's saw. To jump right into this is setting you up for failure. Okay. So what I would rather see on yours for now would be something like, you know, if we just do kind of the music note here, and then maybe we do like the little flag or something like that, okay? And that would be a little easier. Not only that, but then we would be able to have a nice hole right here so we can pop out the stone or something else like that. Does that make sense? Okay, so what do you think about doing something like that?
I know how we could get some ideas.
You went and grabbed your cello music, huh?
Yeah.
Good deal.
These have some notes in them that we could try, or we.
All right.
Look, there's that
So,
PC thing.
yes, that is called a bass clef.
Yeah.
And a bass clef would actually be easier than a treble clef. A treble clef is a lot more advanced.
I don't use the bass clef.
I know you don't use the bass
I'm
clef.
not gonna
Well, then, like I said, why don't you go with an oval or something? Let's keep this one simple. First of all, we're doing it on live video, okay? The pressure, no, Kiari, don't. Oh my goodness, child. So anyway, yes, we see that you have music, honey. We were talking. Okay, so anyway, so I highly suggest on your first pieces, you keep it simple. This is something to aspire to, okay? And it's something that we will eventually do. but not today, not on live video, not while you've not had the experience with using that saw and that, okay? Okay, so now you need to quit pouting at me and you need to come up with a design on there. So even on mine, I'm just gonna keep mine basic and simple. Now mine is a fluorite. Mine is a fluorite. So there's nothing super fancy about it, but there's kind of a carving on the front of a, it's not really a lotus. I'm not quite sure what it is. But anyway, so there is a carving on the front, and by having my back plate open from the behind, I am able to allow the light to come in. All right, thank you. So what I'm going to do on this, let's see if I can get this into place. What I'm going to do on mine is I am going to just open it up in an oval. I'm just going to keep it really basic, really simple. And Kate, that's what I want you to do, at least on this piece, okay? So I'm just going to take my pencil and I'm going to hold it. I'm going to angle this, okay? And I'm just going to try to do my best to keep this angle up against my back plate, and that gives me an oval that is perfectly centered inside of that and keeps with the shape of my piece. Can you see that, Kate? So now I'm going to cut this out. To cut this out, what do I need to do first, Kate?
You put yourself all into it.
I do need to get a hole into this, okay? So what I'm going to do, pull my hair back here for just a sec. We are going to use, and we're going to also need some safety glasses. Here you go. Do you want a pair? Okay, you need to not pout anymore. Come on, you're on live video and I need you to do this. Okay, I know you're upset about that, but I don't want you to fail on this one. Okay? You have to be realistic about the design that you want to do. So what I'm going to do is, oh, where's my little drill bit here? Hang on. There it is. So I'm going to use my flex shaft, or in this case, my micromotor. Before I can get my hole into this, let's see if I can get you guys over here. Okay, switch that camera for me, please, Kate. The one that shows the bench pin. Thank you. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to come in here and I'm going to put in a divot. And this divot is going to be, allow me to put my drill in here. Hopefully I can do this so I'm not left-handed. So let's see, I'll try to do this left-handed so you guys can see this though. So I'm going to put this inside of the hole, okay, and bring my foot pedal over here. And I'm just gonna come down and drill this out. And now we have our hole. Okay, so now we have our hole in here. What do I need to do next, girls?
Solder?
Nope, not solder, because we've already soldered it.
No, not solder, I meant that.
I need to saw it out.
Yeah,
Okay.
That's what I meant.
Now, in order to saw this out, because it's on the inside, it is a little bit, it's okay. I need to actually put my piece through, and the saw blade through this.
Yeah, I meant side,
Okay.
not solder.
Now notice that I kept my design up and my bezel face up. Okay, if I put it on the other way,
bezel?
this is the bezel.
Oh yeah, if you did it the other way, you wouldn't be able to see that circle.
That's right.
thing.
I would not be able to see what I'm doing.
Oval.
Come on. All right, so now, my chair's too high. Let me lower my chair a bit. When I'm piercing, I like to have my chair a little bit lower so that my bench pin is kind of chest high. All right, so there we go. And notice that I'm going to use the entire length of my blade. Right? Okay. So what else? Whoops, and I just went off a little bit right there, and that's okay. So we'll come back into this. So even if this is not perfectly even the way I like it, and notice how it's kind of chattering a little bit on me? It's kind of catching. So it's not super smooth and even. So what I do is I just add a little bit of lubricant, and there we go. Now it cuts much, much better. And so what I want to do is I want to just follow that line. Notice that my hand, it just goes up and down, but is my saw blade hand moving other than up and down?
Nope.
What's moving?
I said no.
I know, but what is moving?
The saw blade?
Nope, Kate just said it.
She didn't.
My piece. I moved my
hear.
piece. Yeah, I was kind of quiet. But yes, I moved my piece, and that will guide my saw. So really, the saw just goes up and down, up and down, up and down, and the piece moves underneath it. Okay? Now, notice that I have a V in my bench pin. Why do I have a V in my bench pin?
So that way, like, you can put your saw in between it and then start, like, adding it.
Yeah, exactly. And it supports my piece, right? Now, I just happened to pick up a saw and start to saw, but I paid no attention whatsoever what blade I had in there. Do you know why?
Why?
Because I happen to know that this is probably a 5/0 saw blade. How do I know that?
Because of the size and the way it feels?
Because it's usually what I use. There is a weird spot on this blade. That's why we keep hearing that little clunk. So
Yeah, that little clong is from the bottom of this bumping it.
All right, now I'm gonna slow that down. Kate, where you going, dude?
This was bumping it. That's why it was making that.
You're not gonna do your piece today?
This was making that.
I gave you some suggestions. Just keep it simple, please. Okay. All right. So now we have our oval, and it's terrible. It's not even really even. So what can I do for that? Because I just went really fast on this one.
Get a brushing thing.
A brushing thing on the
the
micromotor.
sandpaper.
Okay. So let's talk a little bit about that. So,
The thing that goes on that.
and actually, because I have a curved surface,
Ooh, actually.
I'm going to use
Never
a file.
Yeah, but you have metal on you now.
Yeah, I do have metal on me. I
That's
do.
why you wear apron.
Well, and that's why we usually have a catch tray. Okay,
tray.
a catch tray.
It's a catch tray.
You know how I've got that little silver drawer in all of my jeweler's benches? It catches all of these filings. So now what will happen is when I get done, I'll take my apron and I'll go dump it in the catch tray. Okay, so
But when you stand up, it'll all fall off.
how is it that I'm getting this curve nice and curved?
Because you have a curving sandpaper.
I have a curved file. Yep.
I'm confused.
Yes, I have a curved file. Okay, now what if I wanted to have a little decorative element in this? So maybe I wanted to have, well, let me show you. Here's an
What
option.
if you wanted a design?
Kind of.
Is that what I mean?
So, well, a little bit. So let's say here, do you remember what a triangle file is called?
Triangle file.
But it's not. Do you remember what it's called?
Shoe file?
No.
It almost looks like a shoe.
Remember, it's a weird one. It's called a tri-square.
Yeah, well, can I see it? Here's the flat end, and then there are the two that go up into a point.
That's funny. Well,
Riley
okay.
watching?
Riley is watching.
Hi, Riley. We're gonna pick you up this weekend.
Yep, couple more days, huh?
Oh, look
Okay,
where one of
so
our friends came. Or one of our.
but you can't see it, honey. Look at what the camera it's on. See that?
Oh.
So yeah, they can't see. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this triangle file, and I'm just going to come in here, and I'm going to file some little grooves.
Okay, can you wait a minute? I want to do something.
What do you want to do? Oh, you want to show your
I'll be
necklace?
blocking.
No, you can just give me just a second, please, because this is what we're doing. Riley lives with us in the summertime, and she will see it plenty. Okay, So you can decide kind of what you want to do, but I'm just going to come in and I'll do this a little bit more as we go along. But you know, you can take this and you can use these files to add some decorative elements like that. Does that make sense? So there's a lot of options you have. Now when I did that, feel this right here. Kate, feel it.
Feels a bit bumpy right there.
Yeah, it's a little bit rough now.
There's something that's sticking up. Okay.
Yeah, it's a little bit rough. And so what we're gonna have to do is we will have to go back out here and we'll sand down that surface a little bit as well, okay? So that's one way that you can add just a little bit of a different element rather than having it be like a complete circle or anything like that, right? Okay, so, out of curiosity, what have other people put on the back of their stones? So if you guys want to leave those in the comments.
Hey Riley, look.
Okay, no, okay, so Kate's a little upset with me now because I want her to put something other than this treble clef that is a little bit, a little more difficult to pierce. And she said, do we have to have, I think she can see, honey.
From beads.
Okay, anyway,
It's made out of
okay,
beads.
shh, we're done now
And
with
they're
that,
on a
thank you.
string.
Oh my goodness, okay, thank you.
Beads.
So what we can do, she said, do we have to have like a cutout? You do not. Okay, on yours, I would highly suggest you do because we have to be able to pop your stone out as we test fit how far up to lift this. Now here's another option, Kate. You have music notes back here. What if we just went in where you had music notes and just pierced out where the note part is? Okay. Does that make sense?
Mommy.
So let me show you guys a little bit on this.
Mommy.
What, Kiari?
What does that say?
Which? The Fluff Master?
This.
What?
What's her name?
Oh, I can't see. Kathy? Kathy says she loves it. So, okay, so back here, we'll talk about...
What's that?
I don't know, Kiari. I can't...
Olsen?
Yes. Okay. So here's some other things too. Alice said that on an oval, she drilled 3 little dots on either end in the shape of a pyramid. Okay, and there's nothing wrong with just having dots on the back. I've done that on many of my pieces. So I think, Kate, then what if we just come in here and we just drill into some of these little dots? What do you think? See how your notes, it ends up being like a little dot, right? So what if you just put in a dot on each one of those?
Okay.
Okay. So we have a couple of different things that we can use for that. But before we actually get into that, I want you to clean up these corners here. Do you remember how to clean those up? Okay, so on hers, we want to keep the corner, but we don't want it to be so sharp. And you're gonna do this here in just a second. So what I do is I'll hold this up against my bench pin with my sharp point here, and I'm going to put my file right on top of the sharp point. Okay, and I'm gonna run right across that, and it's gonna create a flat spot. Kate, can you see this flat spot now? You can't? Well then come closer so I can show it to you. Hang on, let's get this here. There we go. Okay, so see how now it's flat? Ever so slightly. I don't want to flatten it too much. And then I'm going to take the file and just kind of round off one side of the flat.
Like this sound.
I know she doesn't. But this is part of working in a metal studio. Okay, so now it's rounded and you can use your fingers. Your fingers are definitely your best tool here, you guys, because your fingers will tell you if it's smooth enough or soft enough or if you still have more work to do.
It's all blurry.
What? Oh, you're right, it's not focusing. Rotten thing. Okay, so Kate, come here, you need to do this now. Okay, so again, you want to just use your fingers here to see how to smooth that out. So here, you do this part. I'm gonna go get Kiari's piece out of the pickle. Okay. So just right there, right on the top of that point. Nope, do it with the flat side of your file. There you go. Okay, just take that flat or that point and just take it down to a flat spot.
The person that had the last name was Wilson. She might be I don't know if she is, but our teachers use their last names for their names.
Okay, go sit down.
It might be my music teacher. Her name's Miss Olson.
Your music teacher? Maybe, huh? I don't think it is though, because there's a lot of people named Olson.
Teacher named Miss Olson.
All right, Kate, you're on the rounded side again. Okay. Let's see. Okay, yeah, this is coming along pretty good. So again, what you want to do is you want to just kind of take that little point and just kind of round it around. Because we like the point, we just don't like it being lethal. So we don't want to round it out too much. We still want to leave that look of the point right there. So yeah, that was pretty good, Kate. Good job. Okay, so on Chiari's, I think we're gonna do something similar where we're just gonna do kind of a circle back here. Chiari's stone is, actually maybe we'll just do the dots also, because the back of Chiari's stone is just black, right?
It is?
So if we don't do some kind of like a, if we don't do some kind of like a big, whoops, oh, it went all the way over there.
Catch it.
Well, you didn't hand it to me. You put it on the top of my hand. So anyway, with Kate's stone, where her back is so pretty, that's where I would like to see kind of a little larger oval, kind of like what I just did on mine, because then you would see the back of that. But it's not something that's required. So there's a lot of different options that you have there. Yes, baby? Let's see.
The music notes are all squiggly.
They're all squiggly? Well, that's because that's how they were on the plate. Okay, so now, while Kate is still kind of designing hers, and then I'm going to let her cut hers out or drill it out or whatever, we need to solder on. Well, honey, on yours, we're just going to leave it really simple. We're just going to drill some holes into it. Dude, you know what? It's fantastic and all to think about having something on the back plate. You two are like uber beginners. You don't jump right to a grand masterpiece.
I wasn't gonna do that. I was thinking of doing that C thing.
I know, a treble clef. Well, maybe we could do a treble. No, you cannot do a treble clef. This is your piece. You have to make this, and you do not have a skill to do a treble clef yet. You've not even used a jeweler's saw. So you have to be realistic about this, okay? If what you want to do is like what Kate's going to do, where she's, what is this? What did you do? Just color it in? Yeah. What?
I was going to color in and try and cut them out.
You want to cut out some of the
little notes.
The notes? Okay, that's fine. You can do that. You feel comfortable doing that? Okay.
I know something.
So, Kate's actually going to try to cut out a few of the notes that are here.
I know something I could do, but it wouldn't be a note. It would be a heart.
A heart? We can do a heart. Okay.
A heart on a heart.
Yes. So, Kate, do you feel comfortable enough to use the micromotor to drill your hole? Yes, no? Let me show you how I would do this. Okay, so what we're going to do is, her piece has all of these patterns, and the thing that's kind of nice about it, by having a pattern like this, is that it already kind of has a depression that will hold this into place. So grab our micromotor, put some safety glasses on. Okay, so what I would do here on yours, and let me scoot you over just a little bit, Chiari. Sorry, dude.
Okay.
Okay, so what I would do here is I would put my micromotor into one of these. Okay, notice that I'm holding this down. Now, better yet, we could tape this down onto here. Okay, and then it won't move, and then all you have to do is just move the micromotor, okay?
But how would you know where the circle is? Because if you couldn't...
Well, in this case, no. But this case, she's actually going to pierce it from here. So she's going to use those as the design.
But you could accidentally drill through this thing.
Well, we are going to, oh, through the bezel, you mean? That is correct. You could very easily if you're not very careful. Okay, so Kate, did you see that? I did not go very fast, and I don't push. I just hold this into place, and I let the drill bit do the work for me. Okay, and that's what you need to do. Do you feel okay trying that? Maybe. Come on, let's see if you can do it. So come over here. There you go. Okay, so what you're going to do, let's see. Yep, you're gonna get it right into place, into one of those, and you're gonna hold it straight up and down, okay? So you need to make sure that that's straight up and down. Go ahead and push down on the pedal, but you don't need to go all the way, go ahead. And then, yep, just, you gotta keep it going though, don't stop it. Keep it going and bring it down a little more. There you go, good. Yep, and then into the next one, and then drill again. Yep, just go ahead and keep it going. And then there you go, okay? You feel okay with that? It's not too bad once you get it going. So, what's that? No, it actually will not go too fast because I've got the speed on the micromotor itself turned down. So it won't be too bad.
So
all right.
How do we put the part? Like, do we do it over here?
No, you're gonna do it on the inside. Draw it with a pencil. So you go draw yours. So the thing to remember when you are using a flex shaft or a micromotor or anything like that, looking good, Kate, is that you want to let the tool do the job for you. You don't want to go too fast. You don't want to be wobbling your hand piece or anything like that because you can actually cause it to break. If you go too fast, it will heat up your drill bit and you'll lose the temper on it, and it will also make it dull. So that's something else that you want to be aware of when you're doing that. So yeah.
I think it's going too fast.
No, it's not going too fast. It's not. Now here's another thing too. Now she's got a very small drill bit. It's a 1 millimeter drill bit. Hers is tiny. But here's the thing is that if you use a little larger one, or even with the 1 millimeter ones, if you see the metal where it's just flaking off in little tiny chips, you're probably going a little too fast. Okay, but if you see those little spiral curls come up, then you've got it just perfect.
It keeps moving.
So yeah. You can't get that one. It keeps okay, and that's a thing that happens. So what's happening to her is the drill bit is skittering, and so did you get it?
Yeah, it kept moving over though.
Yeah, but you have to be really careful because when it skitters, if you come down and the bit has moved, it'll break your drill bit.
I just realized it's sideways.
But that's okay. It's okay to have a sideways heart. In that way, it'll actually look like it's more intentional if you've put it on sideways. I like it. Should we do that?
I need to do it like straight.
Well, but here's the thing. You have a heart piece by having it sideways, because if you do a heart piece, so she's drawn her heart in here, and by having it sideways, it's gonna look a little bit better because if you don't match the outer heart just right, it'll look funny. But if you put it sideways, then you don't have to worry about it matching up perfectly. What do you think?
I guess.
You guess? Okay. All right.
Oh, wait, would we cut out the whole thing or just
Yes.
that little piece?
Just the little piece, just the little heart. We're gonna cut. Well, by cutting out the outline, your middle part.
Cut out the middle part.
Yeah, the middle part can't
So,
stay if it doesn't
we
have
cut
anything to hold on to.
This, then it'll go boop.
Yes, it will. Okay. So Kate, make sure that you're not out on your bezel.
So I'm trying to make it.
You did check?
I'm trying to make
Okay.
it look like the because I don't like this part's like out farther than the other part.
We can clean that up. You want me to work on it a little bit?
Yeah.
Okay.
Like, I want to make it like, you know how you made the heart on that paper?
On that paper.
On this paper?
Uh-huh.
Like I would want to make it like,
Make it a little bit more even.
yeah.
Okay, we can do that.
Except I guess it would stay like sideways.
Okay. And this is what happens when you go through the design process on this. You doing okay?
Yeah.
All right, let's see how it's turning out. Ooh, see that one's really close to your bezel, so I would definitely not go any further out than that. Okay, so it's looking really good. Okay, so when you're in the design process, a lot of times things will change. And even when you get into the part where you start to cut things, then things start to change again. And sometimes you just kind of have to go with it and see kind of what happens. And then sometimes it changes your path, and that's okay too. Kate, Sonia says your hair looks cute today.
Thank you.
Kiari, what do you think about that heart? Is that good?
Good.
Okay. So what do we need to do so that we can get ready to put our hole into it? What has to happen?
You put a little divot.
We need a divot, that's right. So Kiari, next to you is a bench block. Okay, why don't you pull that bench block over here? It's heavy, so be careful. So the purpose of having that divot is to help keep your drill bit from skittering. And since Kate's little music notes, those act as our divot. They give us a little bit of a wall. Thank you. They give us a little bit of a wall. Hold on, you have to do this. You have to put a divot in here. What happened to our, we had our center punch here. What happened to it?
Hey, Mommy.
You doing all right, Kate?
Yeah.
Okay, hang on. We need to find a center punch. Yes, our volume is on.
Okay.
Even if it doesn't show up there. So, all right, I don't know what happened to our center punch. So here's a different one. Okay, come here, Kiari. You need to put your divot into this, and then we'll have Kate drill a hole for you. Come here. Come here. All right, here's this. Do not smack my fingers, but just hit the thing. Come up a little bit. Okay. Whoa, what was that? Where did that fall from? Weird. Okay, Kate, please drill a hole into that for me, please. Okay, so the next thing that we need to do after we get your pieces pierced out.
Can I do any more on that?
I would stop there. I think that's probably pretty good.
I'm scared to do any more.
No, I think that's actually really good. And now you're just gonna take your drill bit and connect the dots. So yeah, no, that's gonna be good. So, yep, now this one, Kate, bring your drill bit is kind of off to the side a little bit. Yep, now come straight down. There you go, nice. Now, okay, now don't, here's another thing too. When you drill down and into something, especially if you drill into wood, don't just pull it up, okay? When you're trying to pull it up, keep your drill bit running, all right? So yeah, because you don't want to just yank it up because it could be very tight into something, but if you keep your drill bit running when you pull it up, it'll just kind of make your hole a little bit cleaner as it comes back out, okay? All right, so the next thing then that we need to do, Kate, there is another bench pin down there if you want to use that. Here, I need you to swap places with me. So there's another bench pin.
Bench pin.
Okay, hand me the one that looks like this. Is it not down there? Oh, it is down there. Hold on.
There's two.
Yep, this is the one we want. Whoops, can you hand that to me?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Now how am I going to do it?
So, I'll show you.
Also, my chair doesn't go
What's that?
down. My chair doesn't go down.
No, your chair is fine. Your chair is totally fine where it is. Okay, so what I'm gonna do, let me show you on yours. Yours is gonna take a little bit more effort. Move it down to the camera with the bench pin, please. Okay. Riley, go get your calc test. Everybody's in pajamas every day, yes.
Bye-bye.
Go. Good luck on your calc test, knock it out of the ballpark, and we will see you in a couple days. Okay,
Bye.
so Kate, what we need to do here is I've got to figure out where we need to come in. I'm going to thread this on, and yours is going to take a little more. That's a little too flat. That's better. Okay, so yours is going to be a little bit...
There's a tuner.
You could use it as a tuner. Okay, so what we're going to do is I'm just going to gently come up here, and I'm just going to follow the note line itself.
Whoa.
Okay, now we're at a corner. When we're at a corner, I just go up and down and I move my saw. See that? Then I'm going to move my piece. I'm at another corner now. So now, and now I'm going to come back down. If you want to make the hole bigger, like if you wanted to actually pierce out that whole note itself, then you can just gently come in and clean that out like so. See that? Okay, and I did not make the first one bigger, but you could. But what you'd have to do now is either saw back through these lines, which can sometimes be a little bit tricky. Okay, there we go. Ooh, see? No, and it did not cut it. All that it did was bent it down. And that is going to be something that kind of happens on here because we are now creating a very weak spot. So see that? It's just bent. And so what we can do is just push it back up. Okay? So what you would have to do now is you would have to feed this in through the next hole. Okay, line that up. Get this back in here. Get your saw blade redone. No, it's okay. So you get your saw blade in there again, and then you're gonna do it again. Okay, this time you're gonna follow that one. Does that make sense? All right, so you do that. Kiari, we are going to work. If you want to pull it over more so it's a little more comfortable for you, absolutely. So Kiari, we will do yours next. Okay, there you go.
It looks like a C.
Careful. It looks like a C? Yeah, this saw frame does a little bit, doesn't it? Okay, so the same type of thing, we're gonna put this in here. Ooh, that's terrible. What? That's better.
I can't get it on.
Well, you gotta undo the thing first.
I did.
Okay, hang on. There. Oh, you guys, trying to do this on live video is always kind of fun. We've lost like half of our people, they're bored. Okay, so what we're going to do now is we are going to come in here and we will pierce this one out. And Kiari, I'm gonna not let you pierce this one right now because you've not had any piercing lessons. So I will do this one for now, and then on the next one you can do it, okay? Okay.
Next what?
The next time we do something like this, I will have you do something.
That's kind of boring.
What?
That's kind of boring.
Well, she hasn't learned how to do it yet. How can you do something if you haven't learned how to do it yet?
Learn.
What?
You learn.
You do learn. And I'm actually having a hard time seeing our design because of the glare from our lights. Uh-oh. Did our thing go? Are you guys still live? I'm hoping, because our camera just went dead on us. So let's see what's happening here. Whoops, there we go. Okay, you need to lubricate. Here you go. Okay, so, and actually, so you guys, this is the part of making a pendant that does take a little bit longer, and sometimes it's not always so fun. So now we have a corner to turn here. Did you see how I did that? So you just kind of keep your saw going as you go. All right. Okay, and there is our heart. It's a little off, but what do you think?
Good, I guess.
Okay, so it's not a perfect heart, right? But you'll never have perfect hearts, okay? So you can always change the shape of it if you wanted to or whatever else. So in this case,
I just saw just a bit more on the other thing.
we could. Do you want me to saw some more on the other side?
Sure.
You want me to saw it out some more?
Because then I think it would be even.
Okay.
Or it could be.
Well, we'll see what happens. So we'll come back out here. And so like I said, sometimes things just kind of change a little bit and you kind of have to go with kind of whatever happens, and then you make changes and things like that. Okay, you're gonna have to give me just a sec. Okay. So again, we're still a little bit of a wonky heart, okay? But what we can do too is we can always use our files to kind of come in and change some of this. Now this file is really big, so I'm only able to use just the tip of that.
The little one.
I'm going to. I just wanted to get in here to these larger runs on the piece. Okay, and now from here we would then switch it out and go to a smaller file. Okay, so we need to find a round one. And my round one, oh, there's one. I was gonna say, it seems to have been taken out of my thing. What's that? Okay. Okay, so we would come in here and we would just kind of file this out like so. Okay. All right. So Kiari, next thing on yours, we need to solder on our tube setting. Okay. What do you think we need to do? Now, first thing I'm going to do, see how it's kind of dirty up here? Mm-hmm. So we're going to take our green scrubby, especially right here where we want to solder this tube setting on. Why am I doing that?
Because I can't get it.
Okay. So why would we clean that? Are you wanting it off?
No, I didn't. I got it back on already.
Oh, you're just trying to. There you go. Okay. So why did I go over this with the green scrubby right here?
So you can clean it?
Yes. Why do we need to clean it?
So you can put the tube thing on?
But why do we have to clean it for that?
So the solder will flow?
Yes, because solder doesn't flow where?
In dirty places.
In dirty places, correct. See, you're getting it. You're starting to do really well. Okay, so next thing then that we need to do is we need to pull our soldering stuff back over here. Always put your files back. Why should you always put your files back?
So you don't lose them.
Yep, and then you can find them again, huh? So that's a good habit. Mommy is really bad at that habit. Okay. And put our hammer back here. All right, so now we are ready to get our little tube setting set into place here. In this case, we are going to be using a 4mm tube. So let's get this back into position.
Are we gonna do, where are the gems, this?
Well, we're not ready for gems yet because
Yeah,
you've got to
but I
get your
just
tube
wanna
on here
see
first.
them.
Well, we'll do that afterwards.
There was one that I was thinking of doing, and I don't know if it's a big gem or a small gem.
It's a smaller gem. It's going to be the size that fits into this. Okay. All right. So what you need to do is what? What has to happen first?
You have to put that
Flux.
Yeah.
Yep. Okay. So I want you to flux it. Okay. Let's see. Okay. Go ahead and flux it. You're going to flux both the tube setting and your piece right here. Okay. You get it? Okay. Yeah. And then you want to use some tweezers. I don't know where the tweezers went. Here's some tweezers.
Oh, wait. Here they are.
Okay.
Oh, no. Oh, no.
Did you cut it out? Oh, no, it's just bent.
But it keeps bending more and more when I'm trying to cut it.
Yeah, that one's a pretty thin one, hun. Oh, yeah, you're almost cut completely through. So that one, I think you're going to end up having to cut all the way through because there's no way that's going to stay. I mean, that one's, look, I mean, it's totally broken right there. So it's okay. You're just going to have a larger opening right there. Okay?
Didn't look good though.
Well, then your other option. So let me show you guys something that's happened here. We'll come back to this
Good. Oh, wait.
while she's doing that. Let's see. Maybe you guys find this screen. Here we go. So what's happened is she actually pierced a little too close and now it has broken out one of these music notes right here. So Kate, what I would do, turn this into a heart or something. Okay, make that little spot right there so that nobody knows that we had an accident and we accidentally cut a note.
How do you turn that
Into a heart. Okay, so what we would do for this, let me pull your bench pin back over here for a sec so I have something to hold it on. And let me bring the camera down. So what I would do here is, let's take a marker or something like that, and we're just going to change the design. So you're going to end up maybe not using these holes over here even, okay? Or maybe you even just put in a diamond. Like maybe you just go with that particular shape and maybe we put another diamond over here. Does that make sense?
Then it's like there's the extra holes around it, so it looks weird still.
No, because look, if we take this one right here and we turn this one into a diamond, I mean, all these other holes go to a music note, right?
Yeah.
So it'll be okay. I mean, especially if you put a diamond up here and then you bring and put a diamond down here. And that way it makes it more cohesive.
It's still good.
You don't like it? Okay. Well, then the other option is that somehow
This fell onto the rocks.
Did it fall into the rocks? Okay.
So then
What fell into the rocks? Oh, the bezel did? Okay.
yeah, so then I kind of rinsed it off.
I just don't know.
Well, like I said, the other option, like somehow you've got it, this marker is not working. But you would just use this and you would change it, but then maybe put in a couple of others. So that way it looks like you meant to do it and it wasn't just an accident. Does that make sense? Okay, and that's the part I'm teaching, or teaching. It is the part that I'm teaching you, is that, you know, when something on this goes wrong, you have to figure out what to do with that now. And this happens all the time. All the time. Like there are so many times where I thought, oh, I'm going to have this beautiful cutout design, and I cut through something and all of a sudden I have a hole. Okay, so now we just need to figure out what to do with that hole. So you can make your hole round, you can make it a rectangle, you can make it a diamond, you can do whatever else, but whatever you do here, do it somewhere else, at least one other time. Okay, and that way then it looks like you did it on purpose and not just by accident. Does that make sense?
So I can't even do that.
Can't do what?
There's something I want to try and do, but I can't because it's at the edge.
Yeah. So think about it for a minute. Play around with it. Use, here, there's a better permanent marker. Use that to see if you can come up with another little design. Okay? And the other thing too, we want to be really careful about being out here on that edge because we're going to have a wire back here. All right, Kiara, I think you have plenty of flux on that tube setting. And people can't even see it.
It keeps falling into the rocks.
Well, of course it does because of how you're holding it, sweetheart. Okay, now we have to pay attention to our tube setting because the tube setting has one really thin edge and one edge that's kind of thick. Let's see if we can get this on here so people can see that. So do you see this? See how this edge is thicker? You just painted me.
Good thing I flashed it off.
Yep. So what we need is see how that's got a thicker edge on it?
I think.
And now look at this side. See how it's thinner? So the thinner edge is the side that has our seat cut into it. Now, remember what I told you when we have a lot of flux on something? What happens when we hit that with a torch? What happens to that flux?
Bubbles.
It bubbles. If I put my solder in there right now, what do you think will happen to that solder? It is going to bubble out fast, okay? So what we want
Is that a good thing or a bad?
it would be a very bad thing because we want our solder, what's gonna
One of
happen?
the rocks got
That's okay.
painted.
We are going to put our solder right on the inside of that tube. So what I'm going to do is I'm gonna take this torch, we're gonna heat it up, and then just until, see, look at all that bubbling. See that? And that would, okay, now I think that we're good enough that it won't bubble my flux out.
I think it's dried
I'm
up.
just gonna leave it.
You're gonna leave it? Okay.
I can't do anything with it.
Well, worst case scenario, like I said, we can make an oval or something like that. Or we can even make it a squiggly design. Okay? You have some options, hun. But it is disappointing when that happens. I get that. All right, so we need our solder. what I'm going to do is I'm going to take one piece of solder and place it on the inside of my tube. All right, it doesn't take a whole lot, and this piece of solder is a fairly decent sized one. So what are we going to watch for? Because I cannot see the inside. We're going to watch for that solder to come out to the outside, right? All right, so let me pull this out of here. You ready? Okay, you tell me when that solder, oh, did you see that solder try to bubble out of there? Okay, so notice that I'm keeping my torch again here on the back plate. All right. Ooh, look at, what phase are we at?
Maple syrup.
We are at maple syrup. Now we're where? Clear and glassy.
Wait.
Did you see it?
Yeah.
Okay, so what we wanted to see though is we needed to make sure, and it looks like we actually have it. We need a good, oh yeah, that's beautiful. We have that beautiful solder rim around that tube setting. Good job. Okay, so now you need to take that over and put it where? Where do you need to put it?
In the pickle pot.
Yes, you need to put it in the pickle. Okay. Now, all right, so go ahead and go put that in the pickle. Now we actually are gonna have to end because your cello lesson starts in 10 minutes and you have to go get ready. Stop with the water. Go take this and put it in the pickle pot, please.
Okay.
So, all right. So as you guys can see, things did not go according to plan, and that's just how things go sometimes. It only makes it worse when you're on live video and things don't go the way you want them, and it is disappointing sometimes when that happens. But it's part of the process, and it's something that kind of happens with that. So I apologize that we didn't get further, but you know, you go as far as you can. So I will spend some time this afternoon after we get off the film and everything like that, and Kate and I will figure out what to do on her back plate, something that she'll be happier with. We'll come up with something good. So we'll come up with something on that. We'll get our back plates ready as far as those holes go and our designs. And then when we start tomorrow, other than, we may actually solder on a tube setting onto Kate's before we start tomorrow too, just so that we're kind of ready to go. And then we can talk about the last part of our design elements, set our stones, polish our pieces, and you guys will be done. Now that still might take us all the way till Friday. So we may have 2 more segments to this video series anyway. But today was kind of an exercise of patience and disappointment. Yeah, and that happens. And
Unicorn!
One of the big things that you have to realize too is that you guys are just learning. You do not have the skills that I have.
Thank you to the
and that's
person
okay.
who sent the unicorn.
Right?
32 people.
I know. So I mean, and it's okay to know. Why don't you go upstairs and get your cello? Get everything ready. Tell everybody goodbye.
Bye, everybody.
Get your
Have
cello
a
book.
happy unicorn day. It's upstairs.
Okay, hurry and you go get ready for your lesson, and I'll be up in just a second. Okay, so anyway, this one definitely just did not go the way we kind of planned, and that is part of our process. It's part of our process, and we'll get through it. So tomorrow we'll have things set up just a little bit beyond where we are right now, but you guys have the gist. You kind of saw what the process was that we went through, and we will pick it up there tomorrow. So you guys have a wonderful day. Thank you so much for joining us and sticking through this more awkward day, and we will see you guys tomorrow, and hopefully it'll be a little bit more fun-filled and a little more exciting. All right, have a good one. Are you not even gonna say goodbye?
Bye.